Hey guys, I'm Mia. Welcome to Braidtastic. Today's hair tutorial is going to be your Braid Encyclopedia, which pretty much includes every braid you could think of. And make sure if I leave any braid out that you're thinking of, leave a comment below and I'll try to upload a tutorial as soon as I can. So all the materials you're really going to need is your basic hair stuff. So a brush and a comb and some hair ties. So let's get these Braidtastic hairstyles started. Okay, so we're going to get started on braid number 1, which is going to be your basic French braid. So what I've already done is just brush through her hair to make sure there's no knots or tangles or anything. And her hair is kind of big because she had her hair braided yesterday. And then this is optional, but I'm just going to spritz her hair with a little bit of water just to give it a little more smooth look. Okay. So, then what you're going to do is I'm just picking up hair ear to ear, but you could start it wherever you wanted. Alright, so what you're going to do is split her hair, or your hair, into 3 pieces. There's a piece on the left, a piece in the middle, and a piece on the right. So what you're going to do is cross the right section over the middle. So now your right section is the middle section. And then what you're going to do is take the left section and put it over the middle section. And now your left section is the middle section. So then as you're going to put the right section over the middle section, you're going to pick up a piece of hair from the right side and gather it into that right section and bring it over the middle. Then you're going to do the same on the left side. Put the left over the middle, pick up a piece of hair on the left side, and put it over the middle with the left section. And again, you're going to put the right section over the middle section, pick up a piece of hair, and join it with that right section. One more time on the left, over the middle, pick up a section, over the middle, and then you just continue doing this until you have no more hair that you can pick up. So I just picked up the last on my right section, and here's the last piece on my left section. And then you're just going to regularly braid however far down you want. Left over the middle, right over the middle, left over the middle. I'm going to stop right there because she has layers that are going to start to pop out. And then I'm just taking a regular clear elastic and I'm just going to put it right here. But then again, you could use a big elastic or whatever you have. Okay, so there is braid number 1. It's just your basic French braid. Okay, let's get started on braid number 2, which is the Dutch braid. The Dutch braid is pretty much the exact opposite of the French braid, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. We're going to start the 2 hairstyles exactly the same. Pick up ear to ear, or wherever you want to start, and you're going to split it into 3 equal sections. Section on the left, section in the middle, and then section on the right. The only difference between the 2 braids is that the Dutch braid, instead of crossing the strands over, you're going to cross them under. So I'm going to take the right section and make sure I pull it tight under the middle section. Then you're going to do it on the left. I have my right section as the middle. Go to the left under the middle. So now you're going to put the right section under the middle, but this time we're going to pick up hair with it. So pick up a little piece of hair from the right section and cross it under the middle with the right section. Then do the same on the left. Cross the left under, pick up a section of hair, and then cross that under as well. So then just continue to go all the way down. And you'll see the braid, instead of going in like the French braid, it's popping out. So just continue crossing under until you have no more hair to pick up. Okay, I've just picked up my last section of hair, and I'm just going to braid under about halfway down, but you can braid down the length of your hair, whatever you want to finish it off, however you want to finish it off, I guess. Okay, I'm going to stop about there. Again, I'm just going to be using a clear elastic. The most important thing about a Dutch braid is that you remember that you're crossing under and not over like a French braid. Okay, so there is the finished look for braid number 2, the Dutch braid. Okay, so here is braid number 3, which is the fishtail. So the most important thing about the fishtail, or the hardest thing I guess, would just be the fingering, but with practice you can get it. So I'm just pulling her hair into like a low ponytail, and then you're going to split it in 2. So then what you're going to do is, from the right side, is you're going to take a little piece of hair, try not to make it too big, and cross it over that right section, and then you're going to gather it with the left section. You can see I'm holding it with my thumb so it doesn't try to come back to the right section. Then you're going to do the same thing with the left. You're going to pick up a small piece of hair and cross it over that left section and join it with the right section. And then you're going to do it again. You're going to pick up a small piece of hair, cross it over that right section, and gather it into the left section. Then again from the left, over the left section, gather into the right section. I will say, in order for the fishtail to look good, it does take some time and some practice, but once you get it down, the fingering down, and how it's supposed to look, it's fairly easy. As you get farther down the hair, it's easier to braid because the sections are more put together. At the beginning, it's a little bit harder because you have to get all the hair from the front, but trust me, it does get easier as you go down. Okay, so for the sake of this video, I'm not going to braid down all the way to the length of her hair. I'm going to stop about here, which you could do if you wanted, but just for the sake of the video, just so you can get the gist of it. And then I'm just taking a clear elastic, and you're just going to tie it off. And you could leave it just like this, where it's tight, or if you wanted to, you could just loosen it up a little bit. Whatever you want to do with it. Okay, so there's the finished look for braid number 3, fishtail. Okay, so this is going to be braid number 4. I've clipped the majority of her hair out of the way, just so it's a little bit easier for you guys to follow, but you can use your whole head of hair or whatever portion you would like. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, this is the 4-strand braid. So how I usually start off with this is just splitting the hair in half and splitting each hair in half. Or each section, I guess. And the tricky thing about a 4-strand braid is just the fingering, keeping track of each one. Okay, so now I have my 4 strands or sections. I've got one on the left, one in the middle left, middle right, and then the far right. So then what I'm going to do is take this right section, cross it over that middle right section, and then under the middle left section. It's like if you've ever weaved before, it's similar to this. So then you can see these 2 strands are separated by this piece of hair, so you can just get those in one hand. So then you're going to do the same thing on the left, except going the other way first, which is under. So you're going to go under, and then over, and then you can grab these 2 together if you'd like. So then you're going to go over again, over, and then under. Then under, and over. And then you're just going to keep doing that all the way down. For me, it does help to say the under-overs, just so you keep track of what you're doing. So I'm just going to stop right there and finish off with the clear elastic. So you can see it has a more different look than just a regular 3-stranded braid. And you can even do this French if you wanted to. I just think it looks cooler when you just do it regularly. So there is the finished look for braid number 4, which is the 4-stranded braid. Okay, we're going to get started with braid number 5, which is the 5-strand braid, which is pretty much the same pattern of the 4-strand braid except with 5 strands. So I'm just going to split it. Sorry about that, that was my not-so dog. So I've just split it into 5 sections, just using my fingers, like so. And then, I'm sorry, my dog is barking at something. I'm going to take the far section to the right and doing the same pattern with the over-under thing, except this time you have to go the same way every time. So I'm going to go over, and then under, and then over again. And then again I'm going to go over, under, and then over. And you're just going to keep doing that. Over, under, over. Again, the trickiest thing I promise you about this braid is the fingering, just the hand hold of how you're doing this. Finished look of braid number 5, which is the 5-stranded braid. Okay, so let's get started on braid number 6, which is going to be the knotted braid, or as some people call it, the chain braid. So as of right now, I've parted her hair on kind of a mid, what side is that, left part, and then about, I don't know, 4 inches away from her face, I've made another part. This hairstyle is going to be a lot easier with damp hair, just because we're going to be using a series of knots, so you might get a lot of flyaways. So you're going to start by making about an inch section from her forehead back to the part that you've made. And then you're just going to comb through it. And then you're just going to start tying a knot like you would tie a shoe. So I'm crossing right over left, but whatever you do, just make sure you're doing that each time. And then just pull tightly. And then I'm going to have her hold this front piece, and I'm just going to use a banana clip to hold back this back piece. And then I'm going to section off another section you want to make it the same size as the first one. So an inch section, and then you're just going to tie it in a knot. And you want to make sure each time you tie the knot, the first knot that you made, they're in line, or else this is not going to look right. And then I'm just going to clip that piece back. And then again, I'm going to make another section and just tie it in a knot. So this is where it gets slightly different. I'm going to give her that piece, and then I'm going to unclip these pieces that are in the back. And then I'm going to take the first strand of the knot that I did and bring it underneath these pieces and just let that hang for a second. And then I'm just going to clip it again. And I'm going to do the same with these pieces that she's holding. Take the first knot that I did, put it under the first two, and then have her hold these. And then what you're going to do is, as you're sectioning off the next piece, you're going to incorporate those 2 sections that you pulled in into each of the halves that you made, and then you're just going to tie your knot again. And then pull down. And then I'm going to give her this piece, unclip these again, take this third one, this farthest one, drop it underneath, then pin these back, and then take this third one again, and then just drop it under. And then incorporate them into your next section. Split it in half and just tie it. And this is going to be my last one. I'm going to put it back here, take the third one, drop it underneath, back, take the third one, drop it underneath. And that'd be a good idea too, if you want to just pull them tight before you put them into your next piece. So this is going to be my last one. And then just pull them up. So you can see by the knots I've made, and just hold this for a second, that when I bring them down, they create like these arcs, or these chains, like some people call them. I don't have a hair tie. Hold these for a second. And then I'm just going to get a clear elastic. No, that's not what I'm going to do. Just pull these tight. And then back into rubber. And then what I'm going to do Okay, so this is our 7th and final braided hairstyle. It is called either the slide-up braid or the snake braid, but what we've done so far is pretty much the remains of our last hairstyle. There's a part on, we've parted her hair on the left, and then out of the section that we had before, we just picked up the top layer, and I've lightly sprayed her hair because this braid is much easier once you've dampened the hair a little bit. So how you're going to start this hairstyle is just by splitting the hair into 3 sections, and you're just going to braid regularly down the length of her hair, but it's very important that you braid loosely or else this hairstyle will not work. Okay, so now I've finished braiding and I have the section on the left, section in the middle, and the section in the right. So I'm going to take this left section and hold it in my hand and then gather the middle and the right section and hold it at the base. Then what I'm going to do is just push it up. This is why it was important to braid loosely. And then what you're going to do is just slowly pull down so it's kind of longer and you can see it better, you see? It does take a little bit of practice before you can get this, but it is fairly easy. Then what I'm going to do is just take a clear elastic and then just tie it off at the end. You can see it doesn't go all the way down to the end of her hair, but that's okay. And then what I would do just to finish it off is take this out and then just leave it down. And then just... Okay, so this is the snake braid or the slide-up braid, whichever you prefer. So that is the finished look for our 7th and final hairstyle. Well, that's it for today's Braid-tastic tutorial. And just a reminder, if I left any braid out that you guys wanted to see, make sure you leave a comment below and I'll try to put a video up as soon as I can. And if you want to see how to do this hairstyle, make sure you leave a comment below as well, or whatever else you guys want to see. And don't forget to subscribe. See you guys later.